Representative McNamara, thank you for joining us. Can you describe your district and tell us in what ways you and your district are similar?
Well, my district is a very mixed district. It's mostly suburban, but it includes some rural. It's got a lot of environmentally sensitive areas. I've been real active in environment as a former landscape contractor for 30 years, so the environment's very interesting to me. We have the Mississippi River Valley, the St. Croix River Valley in my district. I represent all of the city of Hastings, the eastern part of Cottage Grove, all of Denmark and Nininger townships, and the city of Afton. So it's a great district. It has some rural. We still have a few dairy farms, and but a lot of city, a lot of folks that commute into the Twin Cities, to St. Paul and Minneapolis. Large percentage of public employees, my father being a former state of Minnesota employee, so and I'm kind of a moderate Republican, so it fits well with my district, and so it works out good.
What legislation have you worked on in the past that you are most proud of?
You know, probably the number one thing that happened in my legislative career that will probably always stand out in my mind is the creation of the Vermilion Highlands Wildlife Management Area, just west of my district in Empire Township near city of Rosemount. It was part of the deal that lowered the fees that the students pay at the University of Minnesota. It was former University of Minnesota land that was given to the university from the federal government after World War II. It was originally going to be an arms plant and was taken away from area farmers and began to manufacture arms during World War II. But then the war ended, and these about 13,000 acres were given to the University of Minnesota, the vast majority of it, and we were able to work out a deal with the University of Minnesota to give that land to the state of Minnesota Department of Natural Resources for a wildlife management area in exchange for the state of Minnesota putting more money into the Gopher football stadium. And so it's kind of cool. It's always going to be an area that's very vast. It now probably encompasses totally over 4,000 acres. It gives inner city youth and families a chance to get to the real outdoors. It's 3 miles wide with no roads, and it's going to only grow and get to be a better thing. And so I'm really excited. I played an integral role in the creation of that.
What do you see as the biggest challenge the state will face in the next 10 years?
You know, the biggest challenge is balancing the needs of our constituents and keeping Minnesota economy viable with good jobs for our citizens. I always say the number one thing that a person needs is a good job. If you have a good job, you can do a lot of things for your family and for the rest of Minnesotans. If you've got a good job, you're paying taxes, you're contributing to the economy, and the way you get a good job is having a strong private sector. And unfortunately, I think we have to be careful that our tax policies don't go in the wrong direction and chase too many good Minnesotans to other states. And so I think that's the important balance. Minnesota is a good, giving state. We do a lot of great things for people that are that need help, and we need to continue to do that. And we have to balance that with, we have to compete with our surrounding states and all the states in the nation. And it's unfortunate when so many people move away from Minnesota to Arizona or Florida for tax reasons. And oftentimes those are people that are really contributing to our economy. So we need to balance that, and I think we can do that, and that's a challenge in the next 10 years.
What is the most difficult aspect of being a legislator?
The one thing that I would say is difficult is when we get some issues that you have to vote yes or no. There's no yellow button. We have to pull either red or green. And some issues are very, very hard to deal with. And in those cases, I would say that's probably the most difficult, especially if you know some folks would really feel strongly on the issue, and they can be on both sides. That's probably the most difficult part of the job, but the reality is that's what's the most important, and that's where we need to really perform and think it out and make a decision that we feel is best for the constituents of the state of Minnesota and for our district.
If you could go back and visit any time period, what time would you travel to and why?
You know, I probably would want to visit early Minnesota when it was first settled in the summertime. We're recording this in the depth of the winters when it's 15 below this morning. So I would not want to come to Minnesota without shelter and protection in the winter. But I probably would love to have come, you know, like when Lewis and Clark was visiting Minnesota before it was really settled, and spend some time in the summer.